Welcome to Customer Focused Marketing, the #1 customer-centric online presentation, exploring before, during, and after the sale from both sides of the cash register. I'm your host, Russell Van. Let us begin. Welcome. This is Customer Focused Marketing. And today, in this episode, we have the pleasure of talking to an innovative, resourceful action taker. And her name is Michele Ervin. She is the writer and producer of Junior Posse, the movie, and the movement. And we welcome her to the show. Welcome, Michele.
Hi. Thank you.
It is my pleasure. I think this is a beautiful story in the making. I think we have a mutual acquaintance, Miss Sweeney May of events in the city, L.A. She seemed to be a friend of yours, and I met her recently, or not too long ago, and we had to talk ourselves. And she told me about your project, this movie that you're writing and you're producing, and that you've been working on. We're going to let you tell us how long you actually been working on it. But Junior Posse, tell us about this project, please.
Okay. Junior Posse, the movie, is inspired by a true story of a woman who is a Western writer turned equestrian trainer, and she owns a ranch in an unlikely setting, the city of Compton, California. And her philosophy is she believes that horses can heal a community of kids. And the story follows a teenage boy that kind of stumbles onto the ranch, and he undergoes a transformation when he meets other kids as they work together to change their destiny and influence their community.
So this is a true story, or based on a true?
Yes, inspired by the group is called the Compton Junior Posse, and basically it's a ranch there in Compton where the owner rescues kids, so to speak, off of the street. And I say rescue and so to speak because the story she tells is the kids would just hear about the ranch there, and they would just come and knock on the door and say, "Can I ride?" And she'd take them in, and she had a couple of rules, and that's that you had to go to school and you had to get good grades if you wanted to learn how to ride. And a surprising thing would happen. They would do just that, just for the chance to ride. And so she began to train the kids there into equestrian competition.
Now, I got to ask you, I don't want to cut you off from the story, but my understanding of Compton is a urban setting.
Yes.
Where in the world does she have room, land, horses? I mean, that image to me says open area.
Which is funny to say that because it makes this story so intriguing, just the location of it. Sure, I'll say it again. I said when a friend of mine introduced me to the ranch there, and it's this like little square block of land of homes there, about 500 homes I think it is, nestled right in the center of Compton, and the zoning there is zones for horses and ranching. And it's part of, when it all used to kind of be farm area many, many years ago, and then as they began to build houses there, they left this, kind of this square. And it's called the Richland Farm. And it's funny because I've met people that have since I've been involved in the project over the last 4 years, I've met people that grew up in Compton and never knew that location was there in their own city.
It's like a hidden gem, huh?
Yeah, and that makes the story itself, the location of the story is a story within itself, which makes it so intriguing, just for the very reason you just said. When people say Compton, I don't care where you are in the world, I think people know what you're talking about, and a certain image will come into their head. But you drive down the street, coming off of the freeway, and turn right down this street, and you feel like you're just walking. You're driven into another world. It's so weird, but in a good way. You know, and it's kind of addicting.
How did you find this place?
A friend of mine introduced me to her. I was looking to do a documentary when I was in film school, and she said, "Oh, I know a friend of mine. My friend actually rides horses in the rodeo." And she said, "Oh, I have a friend, you know, that I'm acquainted with that has a program with kids." And she introduced me to her, and I just kind of became a follower. You know, I made a documentary that year, 2009, in the summer, and I followed the Junior Posse kids the whole summer. You know, and they competed. I went to a couple of their competitions, and then just hanging there at the ranch for a couple of, you know, filming them. And I shot the documentary, finished it that fall, and took it around the festival. And the reception of it was just awesome. I mean, people were just gravitating to the story. Every place we went with that across the country. And
so the documentary, was that for school?
Yes, I was in film school. And so I started taking film school when I got interested in making films with my sister, you know, and writing screenplays. So I went ahead and enrolled so I could learn more about the industry and lingo, learn how to use equipment and cameras and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems like that would be difficult.
It was actually pretty fun. It was pretty fun. You know, I was kind of amazed at how much fun I was having. And it was funny because when I finished my master's degree, I thought getting through grad school is so taxing. And I said, I've never stepped a foot on another college campus. And here some years passed, and here I was back on the college campus and taking film classes. And I went just to my local city college, and they had a pretty hardy film program there, you know, learning all the cameras and editing and everything. And the class we had was very, very hands-on, and every semester we had to do 3 films. We had to do a 5-minute film with no talking, no more than 5 minutes, and then we had a midterm, and then we had a final.
So like put your feet right in the fire, don't they?
Yeah, it was great.
Is to do it.
You just do it, and that's what I loved about the class there. Very hands-on and interactive, because that's the only way you learn is to do it.
Now we're talking about Compton, California. So you are out in California. I'm making that jump. Meaning Hollywood, the whole, you know, West Coast film industry, the whole thing. You're right in the seat of all this. Your industry base. Okay, so you did a documentary. You followed the kids the entire summer. What happened to that film or that project?
The documentary?
Yeah.
Well, what happened? We took it all around the festival, and it ended up playing in, I guess, about 17 festivals around the country and in Canada. We won the audience award at the Holly Shorts Film Festival, which was really fun. It was real, because as you just said, it was in the center of Hollywood, you know, right there on Sunset. So it was a big deal to me. It was just typical Hollywood scene, I thought. So it was kind of fun. And then when we were making the documentary, the woman told me that her name is Maisha Akbar, and she said that many other people had approached her to write a screenplay for her program, and they brought her several storylines, and she hated them all, you know. And I told her, well, give me a try. My sister was a very good writer, and I started teaming with her, and we came up with a storyline and wrote a screenplay, and she absolutely loved it.
What made the difference? You have any idea?
Well, for one, I think the preconceived notions of the city of Compton, and everyone couldn't see. Well, I don't want to say what people couldn't see, but this was one of the things she said to me is that they always made it about the bad things, the things that everybody kind of knows about the city, you know, the gang violence and the drugs and blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Right.
And where she's located, where she's at, the kids were coming from that. So that wasn't her story. That was the story the kids were leaving behind. And so I saw that. I spent time there, and I saw that. So that's how we wrote the story. We don't write the story. It's a very positive, inspiring story. And that's what we saw, and that's what we wrote.
And your sister, how did she get involved? When did she get involved before she started writing?
She's actually the writer. She's the primary writer. And when I told her how I ended up teaming with my sister, we have my oldest brother passed away of leukemia in 2003, and he was a director, writer, producer, and my sister and him and my sister worked together, in the industry. I wasn't even in the industry. I have another brother. Me and my younger brother were kind of the critics, criticizing everything they did. And and then my brother passed away, and my sister kind of tried to keep going, and she's a writer. My brother was the person out there as the producer and trying to move things. And she, just was in there writing on her computer. And one day she was writing a script on another subject and asked me to look at it. And I had never looked at anything she's written. Here I'm the older sister, and I looked at this thing, and I was really felt like I was watching it on screen. I had no idea my sister was that talented.
See, all and the time, you being a sister, you didn't give her props until you actually read her work.
That's right, all this time. And I said, oh, my God, I didn't know you had it like that. And I told her, I said, people have to see this. This can't stay in the drawer, And so we began writing on that. And then I started writing with her, finishing some of the other things she was working on. That's when I went to film school because I didn't know anything about the industry, really. And then when I met the Junior Posse group and got the challenge to write the script, I began to tell my sister all the things that I was experiencing there. She didn't even see any images. I was just telling her. And it was like she was spiritually moved and began to write this script. And she wrote it the first draft in a couple of weeks. And then she ended up writing it. And then what I would do, I would come back and read some of the scenes and rewrite some of the scenes or add some things because I was actually there a couple times a week. She was just writing off of the things I was telling her. That's how inspiring the story was to both of us.
Now, you said it took a couple of weeks for her manuscript.
To write the first draft, yeah.
Is that unusual?
She's never done that. Usually it takes her about a year. That's what she told me.
Well, I have no idea either. I'm kind of curious about how the process works, too. A year to write?
Well, that's what she says. I don't, to me, you just sit and write, but I guess you have to be a writer to really relate to that.
I guess so.
She just would sit and write all through the night sometimes. It's like she just couldn't stop writing. And then I would come and write some other scenes that, this would be cute, this happened today, because, I was there, so I would see some little cute things the kids would do and stuff like that. So we finished the whole script, and then we came back and we did some rewrites and stuff like that. And then when we thought we had it really, good, we were running festival, and I started pitching it for fundraising while we were on the road in festival.
Wait a minute. Take me back here. You are in festival. You are taking us to film festivals around the country.
Yeah. So whenever I had an opportunity, I was talking about the screenplay, trying to raise funding while we were in festival with the documentary.
I got you. So you went ahead and you got the chance to talk about it, and what was next?
Well, we got some nibbles along the way. That is, you meet people. Everyone loves the story, but it's just a follow-through thing. And I realize in this business that people, they may like your stuff, but then they have other things they're doing, and it's hard to split yourself up into 100 pieces. So you end up working on the thing that's the primary thing or the other thing you started out with, and things kind of fizzle out, when you're kind of meeting people along the way. And I started to get that, is everyone has something they're passionate about, and that's their main thing, even though they may be passionate about your stuff too. So the key is to keep going, and that was the one thing I realized as being the new person in the whole Hollywood thing and all that kind of stuff, is the rule is there are no rules.
No rules as to what?
As to how things happen for you.
Oh. There's no manual, no book, no... No. It's like everyone has their bar stool experience. You've heard that, right? Like, was it Marilyn Monroe or something got
and discovered sitting on the bar stool or something like that.
Yes, I've
Hope
heard
I didn't get that wrong. But it's like everyone has your bar stool experience, and you know what? There's no rule to it. Whatever happens to you, that's your rule. So when you hear people say, oh, I went here and I did this and I finally broke in. Well, you try to do what they did, it's not going to work necessarily. It's like whatever happens to you is your rule now. Kind of like there's no repeat of it.
Does it strike twice?
Yeah, but when, you know what, lightning strikes, but not in the same place. So you don't ignore the fact that the lightning's going to strike. You just can't stand in the same spot that it struck for someone else. That's what I learned on my journey. So therefore, people say, no, shut the door. That wasn't for me. Go to the next one. And I just haven't stopped. Because the rule is there are no rules.
Being innovative, being creative, being resourceful. That's what we like to talk about here in customer-focused marketing. Being that is your process. What was sacrificed to get? Was there anything sacrificed to get you down the road to this point?
Well, sacrifice probably. You kind of start burning through your own resources. You start sacrificing stuff like, wow, I can't hit the mall as I used to, because I remember one of my short films I did called The Big Fit-In, right? And it was pretty nervous for me because now I'm holding casting call and meeting strange actresses and stuff like that. I held garage sale to raise the money to make that film. It was like my sister was raising money in North Carolina, and I'm raising money here, and we're holding garage sale to raise, the few $1,000s we needed to make that film to make it nice. I just have to wear some of my old clothes and shoes.
You tell me you can't go down to the bank and say, look, I got a project. It's going to be a box thing. It's going to be huge, and I need a loan.
You could do that if you want to live by loans. But, I'm a kind of person who don't want to live by loans and debt. So I don't do that.
How do you, okay, yeah. This is my question here now. How do you figure out how much you need beforehand?
Well, when you write a script, and even on the short films, you always write a script. And then the process is you then break the script down, which means you literally take it apart scene by scene. And then you take it apart and you break it down even further by like even, minute scenes, like, just a very small scene within a scene. And when you do that, you begin to see, just in layman's terms, you begin to see what's in that scene and what's needed for the scene. So you begin to see the costume that's needed, the location that it's in, what's in that location, what props are needed for that location, what costumes, what the actors are wearing in that particular scene, and that starts to come out. And then when you take that out, then you can say, okay, there's this many costume changes, there's these props, these type of props, this type of location, and then you start putting dollar amounts to the stuff. And, of course, paying the actors, that come in and stuff like that. Yeah, you just start putting dollar amounts to each element. That's what I'm saying. That's another thing people don't realize in the movie-making process. It's very just every unit, just a unit.
That's what I'm saying. When I look at the credits afterwards, a feature film, and there's thousands of people in the background who made this production happen. It goes way beyond the obvious on-screen with your talent, and you got the producers and the directors and the story writers, but there's a whole village of people.
Whole village, and when you're doing independent films, each one, you sort of one person wears 100 hats.
And you wear 100 hats.
Yeah. I directed all my shorts, and so I'm director, I'm producer, I'm writer, casting director, I'm the costume person. I went out to the thrift stores to get the costumes for the actors, because we have limited budget, so I'm buying T-shirts and stuff for $1, pants for $2. I'm the location scout, went out, where are we going to shoot this? I went to the thrift stores also getting props, so I'm the prop person.
Where do you who do you find someone different to actually operate the cameras and the sound equipment?
Well, during all my shorts, I was in film school, so that I used some of the students that were really good on good cinematographers in my class, because I found out that my weaknesses was camera operation, some of the technical stuff, actually holding the camera, editing. That's really not my strength. I'm more of probably I would be called an actor's director. I like the interactive with the actual actors and stuff, and then eye for how things look rather than operating camera. Yeah, so I kind of found my niche, and so I would use, the students, and that's how the class worked too. We pair up where we had to find, other students in the class to put together sort of a crew. And that was part of the class, so that was kind of cool. So I'd always get, some of the really sharp, the sharp cinematographers in the class. And I consider myself, I'm not a micromanager. My degree is in public administration and management, and I am not a micromanager. And I love the fact when you put an ensemble of people together that have something to bring, their own thing and flavor to something. To me, it's kind of like making a salad, I guess. You put the right ingredients in there, and it's just, and I like that in filmmaking. And I think that comes across. When that happens, it clicks like that, you see it in the finished product. Rather than tell people, do this or do it my way. No, I like the different things people bring to it. And so you tweak it a little bit so it all matches and flows, and then you get a great product out of it. So that's just kind of the director I am. So when I'm putting projects together, I give everybody what they're supposed to do and leave them alone and let them do it.
Trust
Mm-hmm.
has to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You find somebody who's good at what they're doing, let them do what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And is that some of the magic of being an administrator?
I think so. It's magic, but I think, you don't have to control everything. If you start looking at everyone has something to offer, and it's very valuable, that everybody has something valuable to offer, and you look at it that way, then you don't need to micromanage. And then a magical thing happens, actually, is people know that, and they know that that's how you think and stuff. They give their all, and they love doing it. They have a place to shine, so to speak.
Mm. Everybody likes to be part of something, knowing that they made a contribution to what's going on.
And they give their 100%.
Yeah, I like that. That's good stuff. Okay, so where are you in your Junior Posse project?
Well, we launched a Kickstarter campaign. We have 14 days left into it, and we started researching on how to raise funds for our film.
Please explain the Kickstarter, what it is, how it works, briefly.
Okay. Kickstarter is a fundraising. They call it a crowdfunding platform, where basically you create a project and you upload all the information, and then you try to find people to pledge, which every time you pledge, find somebody to pledge, they call them backers, to back the film, which means they give money. And you can give as low as $1 all the way up to, I think the highest they said is $10,000. And you try to get it out there, friends, family, social media, to create where people will just say, okay, I believe in this, I'll give. And a lot of people have been really successful raising thousands and thousands, millions of dollars on this. So we heard about it, we researched it, and decided to go for it. And then in the process, we found out that they really screen you. They send you through a whole background check. So we thought, you just put your project together and call them or go online and put it up. It's not that easy. They do complete background, credit check, everything. And then they kind of scrutinize your project, too, to make sure that it's viable and it has probably a plus 80-90% chance of succeeding. So you can't just go on and say, I think I'd like to do this. No, it doesn't work that way. We launched it. We have 14 days left. We have a long way to go to our pledge, and that's another thing how it works. You set how much you want to make that you think you need to finish your project or get it to where it needs to be, And whatever you set your goal is, that's how much you have to raise. And if you don't raise that much, they give all of the money back to the people that pledged it.
So this is a grant.
No, it's not a grant. It's not a grant.
It's considered a loan?
It's not a loan. It's basically it's people giving to your project.
It's not charity.
It's not charity.
All right, this is a brand new animal. I'm not familiar with this.
It's called crowdfunding, and it actually goes way back. That's how they made the Statue of Liberty. Actually, I found out. Crowdfunding, where basically a bunch of people pitches in to pay for stuff, in layman's terms.
And you have to qualify your project to be eligible.
Yes.
And if you where does it break down to where they may have to give the money back to the contributors?
If you don't reach your goal, let's say you make a project, you want to fund your film, and they do films, albums, artistic kinds of things. You want to fund your film. Let's say it's going to cost you $10,000 to fund your film, to make your film.
Right.
So you go on and you set your goal at $10,000. They recommend that you do it for only 30 days because people kind of give when it's urgent. So it seems like the longer days you go, those were more unsuccessful projects. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, you set it at 30 days for $10,000.
Right.
Well, then you have 30 days to get that people to give $10,000 in increments from $1 all the way up.
Normally.
So you got to get the word out, family members, friends, they tell people, and get them to give money. And on the 30th day, if you raise your $10,000, then you keep all of the money. On the 30th day, if you have not raised the $10,000, all the money is given back to the people that pledged it. And let me say this, the money is never taken initially. The people go in, they pledge the money, so they put it on the credit card or however. Well, what the Kickstarter people do, they basically hold on to it. They don't charge the card until or unless you meet your goal at the end of your campaign. Okay?
This third party is necessary. Do you need that third party to hold that pledge?
Well, probably not, but it's kind of trying to get people to feel like they can give to you safely, yeah, because they really do a background check. So, people give you money and, what are you going to do with my money? Go pay your rent on it or something?
Yeah, so you use them as a justifiable quasi third party saying that is legit, that you are doing this. That you are going to use the money for what you're pledging. Exactly. You're not going to just swindle people out of their money. So that's pretty much what it is, Okay, Michele. Right. Oh, I forgot this part, is that you get rewards for when you pledge. So you don't just get nothing and just pledge. So everybody sets their own rewards. Like, for example, from our rewards, let's say if you give $40, you get to be an extra in our film. Okay, that's the reward. You get to be an extra in our film. If you pledge $55, you get to be a pampered extra where we'll sit you in the chair. You get to go through the makeup department, costume department, and stuff. So you get the whole Hollywood treatment extra. It's like a featured pampered extra, let's say if you give, let's go up to the lower one, say if you give $10, because you get something if you give no matter what you give, You give $10, you get update and a digital copy or certificate with your name on it, and I think $30 you get to get bloopers and behind the scenes. What? Everybody sets their own rewards, and here I think the highest you can pledge is $10,000. Red carpet tickets to the red carpet premiere, VIP treatment for the red carpet premiere and release party, digital download of the movie. Wow. And stuff. One of the cool rewards we have, actually, that I think is for $250, you actually get to go to the ranch we plan to shoot at and get a horseback riding lesson. Sounds like a cool reward. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of good stuff all the way up to, up to good ones even for $10, $5. You just give what you can because it all adds up. We're only 2% funded. We only have 14 more days.
So like I said, I wish I had celebrity all over me right now.
Okay, so now you are talking to a listener who's listened to this episode. What would be your plea, your pitch, how would you ask?
Well, I would tell everyone that this film is one of those kind of rare gems. You know, it's a feel-good movie because when you think of the city that it comes out of, you know, I don't want to watch a movie like that. But when you see it, you're just going to be so amazed at it. And it's something that you just want to see. You just want to touch and be a part of. We did a casting call because the way I always wanted to make this film was to involve the community, you know, in the making of the film, to kind of just touch it and be tangible, because the story itself comes out of such a unique place. And so you want to keep that uniqueness of it. So we held a casting call last Saturday. We had over 300 kids' families come out for the casting call, kids and parents. These parents, but they were out there waiting till 6 in the morning. Our casting call started at 8 o'clock, and they started lining up at 6 in the morning. And they were standing in line 2 hours before getting up to the room where they actually audition. And we have the little ones all the way from 5 years old all the way up to the 18s, and then the over 18s that could play younger. And what really impressed me about this casting call were all the dads, because, you know, the dads always get a bad rap. You know, you don't take care of kids. But I'm telling you, these dads were out, the dads, the uncles, the older brothers, with their younger sisters or their younger kids. They were standing in line 2 hours, reading lines to them and practicing until they went up to audition. And they were so funny. They're like, you can do it, you can do it. Just smile and have a lot of energy. It was so cute, and it was all day. They just kept coming.
That's actually,
you know,
2 hours beforehand. That's unheard of, I think.
And even a 5-year-old doing that, you know, that stood in line, and you know how 5-year-olds can get antsy. But I'm telling you, these little 5-year-olds would get in that room and still just try to do their best. They were so cute, you know.
Were they all unknown, no acting ability, raw talent, or?
Yep, pretty much.
How did you get the word out? Did you go to casting, you know, what they got, those agents and things like that, or how did you get the crowd to show up? How did you get? We went
on some of the casting sites. We ran the people at KGLH Radio. They were really on board with our community effort, and so they ran some. They gave me a couple of spots and for free, pretty much. You know, they announced it. I went on the Tammy Mac show, announced it. You know, and then I ran some other spots online and a couple of some more spots during the week, couple of weeks before and stuff, and people were just began to hear about it.
Did you use newspaper or
the South Bay Pavilion in the city of Carson? They also did advertising on their website. They had banners and signs out throughout the mall for the whole month before. So they did a lot of advertising as well, and people just began. We had kids come way out from Lancaster, which is almost a 2-hour drive away to Carson, where we held the auditions. And they said they heard it. Their grandma heard it on the radio and told them. They got the word way out there, and they came down.
Wow.
You know, so, yeah, it was something. It was really something. It was a long day, but I'm telling you, it was a fun day. And those kids, they just showed out and represented, and the parents too. And so anyway, so your question was, so where we are in the movie. Okay, so we did our casting call, and now where we are, we're still going through the footage and everything. We have lots of kids, talented kids, so it's making it hard for us to choose, but we are going through the footage. In the meantime, we're trying to get this Kickstarter to raise money so we have a film, you know, a good film the kids can be in. We want to be able to have first class. You know, we're on location. We've got we can pay for hotels for them to stay in. And one of the things I think is going to be really cool. One of the locations we want to shoot at is the Madison House Farms in Paris, and it's a huge farm up there, lots of land. And I thought it would be so cool that instead of putting everybody in hotels, that we'll rent RVs, and they stay on the land there because they have like a lot of wildlife. You know, they got goats and chickens and, you know, the dogs on top of horses and stuff. And so it kind of feels like camping, but you're on set. We think that would be so nice. So we want to bring the kids in first class. You see, as a full movie set and everything, where they have room and board, and you feed them, and depending on the time of year, you know, we've got to have stuff like teachers and tutors and stuff like that for the kids that are underage, and you got to accommodate the parents with them and stuff. So this is what all the money pays for, and we need that money. So I want to make a pledge to your listeners that the money is coming in really, really slow, and some of the celebrities that are going on, man, they put their Kickstarters up, and a couple hours later there are six digits, you know, and we're just, you know, kind of just the little engine that could, but I believe that we will. So go on, look at the Kickstarter, look at the video we got. We put some video up of the auditions of the kids, so it's really cute. You can kind of get a little snippet of what we saw on Saturday. And go in and pledge. Tell your friends, pledge. You know, it's a numbers game. As many people can give $20. We figured if 1,200 people gave $25, we're at the goal we set. You know, if those same 1,200 people, or even half of that, gave anywhere from $20 to say $100, then we've even exceeded our goal.
So how does someone get involved with the Kickstarter? How do they if they reach out to Kickstarter, how do they know that the money is going towards your project? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, they can go on the Kickstarter.com, and then in the search they can search Junior Posse, and it'll take them right to our ad. And there they can watch the video, look at all the rewards, pick a reward that they like, and go ahead, click the button that says back this project, and follow the prompts. And some people, you know, are saying, you know, they make you do this and that, but it's all for security. So as soon as you hit back the project, then you register a Kickstarter. I think they want your name and your email. And then it bumps you over to Amazon, and that's where you put your payment information at, and you make your pledge. And that's pretty much it. And once you make your pledge, as I said, it doesn't charge your card until we've met our goal at the end of the campaign. If we don't meet our goal, then you'll never get charged. If we meet our goal, then the funds are released to us, and we've come a long way with this, and I'm telling you, the funds will be used to make this movie.
Okay.
And I think
the urgency is there because we have how many days?
We have 13 days now. Just click down. We have 13 days. Yeah, 2 weeks. 13 days, and our goal is $30,000.
All right.
So we can do this, you know, and this is a good project. This is a good film. This is something this is a movement. And that's what people are even starting to call it, that it is a movement. I like one of the articles that was done on us in the Wave newspaper last week, and it said, it has my sister and I, Sheila McKinnon and Michele Ervin, has a break-breaking Hollywood no-no by working with the Hollywood no-no that you don't work with kids or animals, and we're getting ready to do both. And can't wait.
How can, besides the Kickstarter, can someone follow along with the project? Do you have a website or some sort of?
Sure. Our website is juniorpossethemovie.com, and follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook is Junior Posse the Movie. We're also auditioning. One of the things I forgot we also are doing, we put an ad out there to try to recruit musicians and composers to write the score and original song for our film, also from the community. So in the end, we'll be able to hopefully have one of the kids or people that are sending us music to compose music for our film, original music for our film. So you can sample it and help us choose.
Wow.
You get to do that too.
This is
those
really
are still coming
involved,
in.
and it's all group-oriented, and people are getting a chance to be part of it.
Mm-hmm,
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a whole new, it seems like a whole new way of doing things, community involvement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent.
And it goes back to what I said, you know, the flavor when you get the what people bring to it, their own like flavor that they bring to something, and mix it all together and it clicks, then it just makes for a great project to me and film.
Well, Miss Michele Ervin, we thank you for your time. I'm glad you had a chance to, or I had a chance to speak with you in person, and you were able to explain to me some of those technical things.
Okay.
I now feel like I've been educated slightly in the film world. You broke it down for me, and I'm going to be following along. I already know how it's going to turn out. It's going to happen. Let me just say it like that. It's going to happen. I'm just going to be there when it does. I wanted to be there when red carpet premiere night, Academy Award nomination, the whole bit. Let's do it.
Thank you for that encouragement. Go on. See, let me see. I'm going to tell you this right now. You want to be on the red carpet?
Yeah.
Let me tell you how much you need to pledge, and you will be guaranteed. You will be guaranteed your spot on the red carpet. Okay.
All right.
So, but you can go on and read. You can see, and you'll be guaranteed your spot on the red carpet and after party and everything. Okay. That's one of our rewards. So.
Beautiful, beautiful. I thank you. I'm going to say good night to you.
Okay, thank you. And, thank you very much for having me.
Oh, excellent. We'll be in touch.
This is Russell. I have just gave an interview with Michele Ervin. She is a innovative, resourceful action taker, I should say. Got to be a little more correct, I suppose. I just want to say that customer-focused marketing. On the overall agenda, we talk to people who are innovative, resourceful action takers that we explore before, during, and after the sale from both sides of the cash register. But in this particular interview, we talked to Michele Ervin, who is a filmmaker looking for an audience and looking for people to contribute to the Kickstarter program so she can fund her film. I urge you to do that. And I also want to say that if you have a question or comment, write me. Wherever you hear this particular recording, we are on many platforms with social media, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, Google+. So, like I said, I don't want you to go any particular place to leave a comment. Wherever you hear me and you want to leave a comment, good. Now, if you are linked and it takes you back to Spreaker, there's also a comment area there. And I urge you to leave a comment, please. A nice one, if you should. There's a little humor there. Okay. If you are a listener that comes back more than once, I'd like you to sign up for the feed, the RSS feed on the Spreaker platform, so you can be notified when the next episode is. And one last thing, folks, or sir, madam, is I am here to facilitate what people are doing now in real time to work in your business for your customer-centric application. So whatever it takes people in business today to attract new customers, to make them happy, to tell you the techniques that they use and the tools that they use and the things they say to have that customer come back and be a repeat customer, that's what I want to share with you. But the request is, what do you need help with? Let me know. What would you like to hear more of those three things? The attracting customers, surveying customers to see where they are, if they're happy with you or not. You want to know how to get customers to come back. Do you want to learn how to spend less money with the customers you have versus spending a lot of money trying to gain new customers? What's on your mind? What's on your plate? What you find difficult in your business? And we will explore it in the next episode. Okay, I'm not going to take up a whole lot more time. That's pretty much it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.